I'm gonna go ahead and be you. What's up? What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome in.
Welcome
Little
in.
Surfsup times KayWay live again.
Yes,
Get this all
sir.
situated.
All right.
So,
Mood is
what?
set. I dimmed the lights and everything for you.
Nice. Yeah, I put all the lights on around me so it'll look nice in here, so you can see my beautiful face.
Everyone wants to see that.
Yeah.
You look like you're sick, man.
Yeah, a little stuffy. A little stuffy. I slept most of the day today because Joey was in our bed all last night, which means his feet were facing me, and then he kept laying next to me and like taking his hand and slapping me like all night long, just slapping me. I was like, "Oh, dude, just go to
Get out
sleep."
of here.
And then as soon as I fell asleep, he just started hacking in my face. I'm like, "Look, I'm gonna be sick in like 3 days. I already know it." So can't get away from it, but I took a nap for like 2-3 hours today because I think I got like 2 hours sleep last night. So I was like, it was rough.
Dang. I think most people would appreciate if you just don't show your face for a few days.
I was gonna do the blurred screen like I was just showing you, but just blur the whole screen.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Yeah, we didn't tell anybody. I mentioned it for a second today. We might go live tonight, but hopefully some people come in and ask some questions. Reselling content, social media content, personal questions, ask it all. But I messaged him yesterday. I messaged you yesterday. It was like, I want to get on there because I've had so many people recently reselling, but it goes a long way in a lot of other categories. Talk about views, and I'm getting lots of views on my items, and I've listed all these things. I haven't sold things, but I've tried auto posture and things aren't selling. It just made me think. I went to the gym. I went to the gym, and like patience pays. And I know I'm about to be 40, and I feel like at the gym I'm like, I need to write it on my hand just for myself. Patience. Like exercising to lose weight, it takes time. For your social media, I mean, like, tell everyone again, your social media, like where you started social media.
Yeah, I started in the garage on TikTok Live, making absolutely no money for. I probably did it for I think a full year. And people would send me gifts on TikTok Live, but I would just give those back out to the community. So I literally, the first time I ever withdrew TikTok gifts is when I did that Whatnot Live, and what's their name? Roots came in and they bought all those shirts, and then on my TikTok live they sent me like one of the car gifts that's like worth like $150 or something like that. That's the only time I ever withdrew money in the beginning because it was like I had like $75 to withdraw, so I was like, oh cool, they gave it to me. I probably should just withdraw this. But yeah, for like a year plus, I didn't make any money on. It was just I was just doing it for the fun of it. Sure, I thought in eventually this might turn into money, but if it didn't, oh well. I didn't really care. I just like doing it.
Yeah, you were live on TikTok where you get paid nothing for over a year. Not getting paid anything, but
Yep.
I mean, knowing that maybe someday it will lead to something. And like on social media, a lot of people recently have been asking me, and this all goes back to reselling, but it's in everything in life. The stock market, say Nvidia was down, like Nvidia has been the biggest stock for the past like month and a half. It lost 20% of its market share, which is crazy. But the same thing there. You got patience pays. So, but back to social media, like my YouTube videos. Well, I think we talked about this last time. I get like $15 per 1,000 views, and it takes a long time to get to where you're making videos where they consistently get 1,000 views. It's not what people
Yeah.
think. Like it takes a ton of time and patience. And with
Yep.
reselling, it's the same thing. Like I never look at views. I never look at people looking at my stuff. I just find good stuff and list it, and eventually the sales will come.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just the excitement of starting because I think everybody does it when they first start. I did it when I first started. Like I looked at as soon as I posted an item, I'd go back and look like 10 minutes later and see if it had any views. And then if it did, then I was like, oh, I'm going to sell this really quick. But after a while, you get to the point where you list so much that it just doesn't make sense to go in and look at
Good
every
point.
single item, see how many views you're getting. Because as long as you're doing the research beforehand, making sure the items actually sell, checking sell through rate, doing your listings properly, those items will sell as long as you've done the research. No matter how many times you see if it got views, it doesn't matter how many views it gets. It matters on if you picked up the right item, if you picked up the right brand, if that item actually sells. So that item could have 100 views, but it could never sell because it just doesn't sell at all.
Really good point. I guess the best gratification with reselling is hearing the cha-ching. Like,
Yeah.
like, don't worry about the views. Like you said, you're doing the research before, you're getting the right items. You're listing them cheaper than other people, or you have better pictures or whatever you're doing, promoting. You get those sales. That's where you feel good. All right, let's get to this chat. We are not ignoring you guys. I see you. You see you. He just loves to hear himself, and I like to talk.
Oh, man, I wish I could flick you off. I don't know if we're at that point yet in the podcast where I could just start flicking you off.
I mean, you do it all the time. You do text messages all the time. John said, "Thanks for all you do." Do you guys post on the Auto Posture and then from there post to eBay and Poshmark? I think both of us post on eBay first, right?
Yeah. So if you post on Auto Posture and use Auto Posture to cross list, like use the actual listing feature within Auto Posture, that counts as a credit. So if you use eBay, you list on eBay or list on Poshmark, list wherever you are, you download that listing into Auto Posture. That does not use one of your credits. So for example, if you have an item on eBay, you've downloaded it, and then you cross list it to all other 3 platforms and 4 here pretty soon with Etsy, you're only using 3 to 4 credits. But if you use that and you just make the listing right on Auto Posture, you'll be using 4 to 5 credits on that. So to save yourself a credit, you might as well just list it on the platform that sells the best for you. Make sure your listing is optimized on that platform, and then download it and cross list it to the other ones. That's usually what I do.
Yeah, I feel like every time you go live, I go live, or we go live together, it turns into Auto Posture talk. But for good reason, because, I mean, it makes us a ton of money.
Yep. Did you start with an LLC? Surfs, do you have an LLC?
No.
I don't have no LLC for me either. I think this year, I said it last year, but I think this year I definitely have to get an LLC, especially if we start moving lots of palletized inventory on whatnot. We're going to get to the bigger money, and that we're going to have an LLC for protection purposes and tax purposes and stuff like that.
I want bigger money.
Bigger money.
Miss Mathis says she appreciates your content. Auto Posture has been a huge difference for her.
Let's go. I'm glad you brought that subject up, by the way, because I was thinking about this actually yesterday. And Surfs didn't tell me what this podcast was
he's
about.
like, "Are we gonna have a subject?" I'm like, "No, live."
Yeah, just go live. I thought he was gonna make fun of me or something. He was gonna start this live out embarrassing me, like he had a picture from me, like back in the day that he got from the internet, and was just gonna post it. I don't know what he had plans to do.
On the internet from back
you probably could find one. You probably could find one to make fun of me about. But I'm glad you brought this up, because I think what you're saying is very true, and I've been noticing it. I actually saw this yesterday. I meant to message you about it, text you about it, but never did. I'm noticing there's a lot of people, especially I get a lot of the vintage community come into my posts and either making really nice comments or really mean comments, and I'll go to their actual Depop stores, and I think Depop is where this happens the most. And I can tell people are doing zero research when they list their items. I noticed I went to one person's store yesterday, and they had I think it was 25 shirts listed, and all of them were listed for $50, no matter what they were. If they were a motorcycle shirt, if it was a band shirt, whatever it was, all $50. And then those are the people that are coming to our lives saying hey, I can't sell anything, nothing's moving for me. I think it's just because they're not actually looking these items up. They're just like, oh, this looks like a nice shirt. Oh, I think it's worth $50. I'm going to throw $50 on it. Meanwhile, there's 100 listed on eBay and barely any sold with the same exact graphic listed for $15. And I think that's a big issue that I'm seeing. It's almost like people are going backwards. I feel like when reselling came about, when I came into it, everybody was really searching items up. And nowadays it feels like people are just posting stuff with random prices and doing little to no research. And then those are the ones that are coming to our posts and being like, nothing's selling, this is all a gimmick, these guys are making money on courses. But really, it's just you haven't done the proper research on your items.
Oh, for sure. I mean, now more than any, every time I'm on here, you have cops around your house. What do you do, man? You got
there's a fire station right next to my house. That's why I bought one right here.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm with you. If I don't know if it's I'm not trying to be mean to other people, but it's a lot of people want you to hold their hand, or I feel like I don't know if my mom's watching or whoever, but the older generation with technology, it's they want you to show you how to use the computer. But if you figure it out on your own, you'll be able to figure everything else out on your own. But if I show you how to do it, or we tell you, yes, that's a pickup, no, that's not a pickup, then you'll never learn type of deal. You got to do the research. You got to do the background work.
Yeah, you definitely have to look up what things are actually selling for. Sure, if you post something for $50, you might randomly get somebody who comes in and buys it for $50. But if there's a ton other listings on the internet that are cheaper than yours, most likely yours is never going to sell, and that's where people are running into issues. And I see a lot of issues too with like when I posted that Ralph Lauren post, I had a bunch of people in the comments like, "Hey, I can't sell Ralph Lauren." And then I told them to share a couple of their listings with me. Their photos were really bad. Their titles were not optimized. There was one person that shared their listing. They're probably listening right now. They didn't share a Ralph Lauren listing. They shared a Cole Haan pair of like heels, and they didn't have the word heels in the title. So if you looked up if you're trying to find a pair of Cole Haan heels, their listing would never pop up because they didn't have it with heels in the title at all. So you have to make sure you're using proper keywords. Take better photos. Try to push your listings out as best as you can by doing the proper techniques to get those listings seen.
And I am no expert in any of this. I'm just giving my advice. Like this weekend, I sold 29 items on eBay and 9 on Posh Show. Take it for what it's worth. So whatever I'm saying, take it with a grain of salt. But that first picture needs to be a dynamite picture. That first picture cannot look like that shirt in the background. It cannot be that shirt in the background on your phone. No, it's hard to see. It's got to be an up-close, detailed, some sort of picture. It's a good picture. It's got to almost look like art. If you go to KayWay's shop on Poshmark or on eBay, look at his pictures. They're like sideways, angled, really good lighting. Different. They just look really, really good. If you're on a phone, you could know exactly what you're buying without even reading the title.
Yeah, that's like that tie store I shared with in my last Bolo video. Like all of their ties are uniform. They're really, really nice. The way they tie up the tie and get that close-up shot of the knot with the pattern. Like when I'm scrolling through eBay sold comps, I know exactly what store that is before I even click on the listing and go into the store because all their listings are uniform. They've done it in a way that sets themselves out from the crowd. Like it's a really, really smart way of tying up that tie, but it draws that customer in. You know exactly what listing that is as soon as you see it on eBay with thousands and thousands of tie listings. You know exactly when you find that store.
So clean. All right, let's get to this.
Yep.
Chat.
So William says, so I don't have an LLC and this is my first 1099 from eBay. What am I to expect? What are they to expect with the eBay 1099s, Surfs, or from any platform?
What to expect when you get a 1099?
Yeah.
You hopefully last year you kept good tracking of all your everything, your cost of goods for all your items. Luckily, eBay breaks down a lot of stuff for you. If it's a 1099 from eBay, they break down a ton of stuff on there, like the fees they take out, the shipping that they took or that people paid and took out, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, your buy cost for all your items. Any shipping material you use, talk to a CPA, but I'll just tell you some of the stuff that I give my CPA. Mileage, you got to keep track of your mileage. Hopefully you kept track of that. Buy cost, any shipping supplies you use. If you use your house, like I use this room in my basement this is my office. So I give my tax person the square footage of my house and then the square footage of this room. And then I give my CPA my bills, and she does the calculations from there. I don't know how to do it. I just give her what she asked for. But those are all things that you can use to deduct from that 1099. Because if you don't, IRS they're going to think you made, if your 1099s for $55,000 gross, they're going to think you made $55,000. Yep. And if you don't do all those deductions, you have to pay whatever your tax bracket is on $55,000.
Yeah, usually with my CPA, I just give her my spreadsheet, my Jason Hayes spreadsheet. I'm using Autoposture this year, but I'll just give her my spreadsheet, and usually the spreadsheet matches up with the 1099 almost perfectly. So literally she can see all the deductions off of what I paid for the year and all that stuff. It's already on that spreadsheet. She's just going to look at both, make sure both look good, and then use my spreadsheet for pretty much making my taxes and putting out my taxes. So it's always good to have some kind of a secondary spreadsheet, or now with Autoposture being able to download your analytics every time you make a sale, it's going to make taxes at the end of the year super easy. But 1099s aren't rough. I knew a lot of people are just starting out. Your 1099s are probably probably not going to be that big, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000. As soon as you see that number, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have so much in taxes. You're not. It's very, very little after you take out all your expenses. Like Surf said, take out your mileage, take out your space in your house that you're using for that. Take out something, things like phone bills. Tax advisors will tell you that. Like, you're using your phone for 50% of your work. Make sure you take out 50% of your phone bill off of your monthly expenses. Things like trash. Trash is used for your house, but also for your business. You're throwing away stuff in your business, so you're able to take away that. But again, talk to your tax advisor. They'll probably have tons of things that you can write off to make that, that liability a lot less when it comes to tax time.
Tons. Also, they're always new people. So guys, we pay. You guys always know I'm like, they're always new people. Someone could have just joined tonight. If you don't have a spreadsheet, a lot of people in the reseller community use Jason Hayes' spreadsheet, and you have a link to that somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's linked in my link tree. He came out with a new one this year. I think it has a couple new additions to it. I just use it for Whatnot right now. But yeah, it's always linked in my bio with a discount code.
It's super good, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
you used it for years.
Yeah, you can basically track your daily, monthly, yearly totals. You can track your expenses. You can put your mileage in there. Basically anything you need as a reseller to put into that spreadsheet besides living space. I don't think he has a spot for living space. So that's like the only thing it doesn't track. Everything else it will track for you. And at the end of the year, you just hand that to your tax advisor or give them access to your spreadsheet beforehand. And then they can literally go in and do your taxes remotely. And then they'll just ask you questions like, hey, can you give me your living space? Hey, can you give me this? You send it over to them and everything's done. So it's super easy to do.
If you're just now starting, you need to get that going. Boom.
Yep, 100%. Here's a question from Mark over on your side on YouTube. On Autopusher, when it relists an old listing, I noticed it doesn't do with promoted listings. Is there a way to pre-fill that? And yes, you create a promoted listings campaign, and then every time an item gets relisted, it gets relisted under that campaign. I only have one campaign set to 5%, so basically every time something gets relisted, it goes right back to the 5%. So it's just within your promotions tool on eBay, or I think, is it your promotions or ad tool? One of those at the top. You'll see it when you create it. It's under your advertising dashboard, and then you create a campaign for that, and it takes you like 5 seconds to set that up, and then you'll be good to go.
And everything you list into eBay goes into that, right? Like,
yeah.
Not just relist, everything you list.
Yeah, everything you list and relist. Anytime something gets listed, it automatically gets put right into that campaign. Just make sure you want to make sure everything is going to be put in. If you have something that, like, let's say it's a pair of shoes that you know is going to sell really fast and you don't really need to promote it, then that thing you might have to go in and edit it and take it out of the promotion as soon as you put it in. But other than that, everything else will get put in correctly.
Yep, I just did that the other day, actually.
Yep. You see any questions? I see a lot. I'll let you read one off.
eBay store reviews. Maybe we'll do that one week, like here coming soon. I mean, I know you, we get store review, like DMs all the time. Hey, will you look at my store? And for me, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get paid for people. It's a lot of time to do that. And I feel like I'd have to charge. I don't want to do that.
But I thought about doing a YouTube video for that again and just having people DM me their store. The hard part about it is doing it on live. I hated doing it on live because I didn't feel like I had enough time to review it. I was just basically going through like the first couple listings I saw. But I thought about making a YouTube series on that too. Like I have the Bolo YouTube series and then store reviews. Because I know a lot of people charge for those. To be honest, you're going to get the same information if you just go out there and watch a bunch of videos for free. So I thought about doing that. I might bring that to YouTube because that'd be a really easy video, like a 5 to 10 minute store review. Just on live, it's just too hard. When
you were doing it, you would just roast people. Like I felt bad. I had to like hide behind my shirt. Yeah, you did.
No. I just looked at their listings and gave them critique. That's all that was.
Jeez.
Did you get sales today? Saw resellers post with 4K plus items posted and 0 sales today. I had some stuff sell today. Did you have some stuff?
Yeah, I had stuff sell today. It was a good weekend. Today was slower than the weekend, but I had stuff sell today.
Yeah, I'll say this.
If you have 4,000 items listed and you don't get a sale, I think you probably have whoever that is doesn't have a lot of good things, or they're not selling them at the right price or something.
Yeah, another thing is too, eBay is about to do a big update with the adding in the condition filters. So I know every time eBay does a big update, I usually see a downtick in sales because I feel like they're doing a lot of back end work. So that might be it. And I know a lot of people have talked about this too with the condition filters. As soon as eBay comes out with that, it's very, very smart to go in and just do what eBay wants you to do on the very first day, because that'll get you a little push in search. They're doing this for a reason, and if you get it done right away, usually you get a little boost in search. You see more sales than most people do. Don't take your time to do it. Like when Ground Advantage happened, a lot of people waited till the last day to change their listings over to Ground Advantage. Just do it right away, get it done, and then you don't have to worry about it again.
God, I felt like that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Jessica said, because we call each other that night, like, how are we going to do this? Jessica says she appreciates all of our posts. Our posts. Me too.
Mine more. I think Jessica likes mine more.
She does. She does. Who doesn't? She's my photo setup, but she's your beginner reseller sheet to keep track of everything she sold. She's
Nice.
part-time and loves it.
Yeah,
So,
that beginner sheet is perfect. I mean, if you're just starting out, you don't need to pay for Jason's spreadsheet. Just a basic beginner spreadsheet will get you through the year. But as you grow, that's when you're going to want to get something like Jason's spreadsheet. And I made that spreadsheet pretty close to what Jason's spreadsheet is for a reason. So that way, if you ever decided halfway through the year that you want to move all your stuff over to Jason's spreadsheet, it's pretty much just a copy and paste, and then you can start tracking your sales a little bit better throughout the year. So kind of looks very similar to Jason's spreadsheet for that reason. Chris is in the house. What's up, Peak? Did you see the post from Flip the World about adding a sold comp to screenshot during Whatnot shows has boosted his sold prices on Whatnot? Yes, I saw that. I don't know if Whatnot has like a terms of condition for that. Like if you're allowed to post eBay, I have to ask Whatnot. It's smart. I mean, if they don't care that you're posting a sold comp, I mean, I see people like I watch Blazendary's show like every single night just to see what he's doing, getting ideas from him, and he's showing StockX solds, he's showing eBay sold comps on his show. So I don't think it's against terms. And if it's not, it's really smart to add that in because some people hopping into a show don't know, especially because he's doing a lot of random stuff that he's getting from the bins. Some people might not know what. Like last night, we had an Ibex that sold for $24. It's a Ibex wool jacket, and that thing is worth 60 to 80 bucks all day on eBay. It sold for 24. If I would have added a sold comp in there, maybe it would have went for around 40 to 50 because people would know what the value is like right off the bat. So I don't know if I'm going to do that, but
that also takes more time too. Time's money.
yeah, screenshotting all those and putting those in. But hey, if he has time to do that at the bins and he's doing it, good for him, making a little bit more money. It's free to just add a sold comp in. It just takes a little extra time.
Pamela says, what do you think would be a better strategy to clear out my eBay inventory? 50% sale, 15% promote, lower price coupons. So
what would you do?
If I wanted to clear out inventory, I would do a sale because promoting is just going to go out. Promoting is like an ad campaign. And people don't see your items for cheaper. eBay is going to get the cut because they're showing your ads. If you want to do a double whammy, you could promote and do a sale. But that's where we talked about before. Like we help AutoPastor brings cross-listing over to Whatnot because you could take your eBay listings that you want to clearance over to Whatnot and just run them and get rid of all of them. Where on eBay, even if you run a sale at 15% off or 50% off or whatever, you still are at the mercy of someone finding your item. Where on Whatnot, you can just unload it. So what would you do?
I like the sale better. I think too, if you run a sale, if somebody's watching your item, I think they get an email that says the price was just lowered. I'm not really 100% sure on that. I know if you drop the price, usually they get an email that says this item just had the price dropped. I don't know about it if you run a sale, if they get that. But if they do, then that just gives the buyer incentive to come back to eBay and buy your item. It gives them another notification that your item just dropped in price. So I usually run sales. I don't do coupons. I know there's some people that have really good success with coupons. But I don't run coupons. Usually just a sale is what gets me through.
I've never done a coupon. Revis. I made $800. Do I get a 1099? I don't know. I'd Google that because they've been changing it. I think it's 5,000 right now, but I don't know. I got a 1099 the other day from Venmo for like a $1,700 thing in November. I don't even know what it's for. I'll have to go back and look. So I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, you're supposed to claim everything on your taxes either way. If you make $10, if you make $10,000, if you make $100,000, you're supposed to claim that technically. So even if you go and get a 1099, it's good. And it's good to claim it too, because if you made 800 this year, you make 8,000 next year, and you make 80,000 the following year, then if you ever try to get a loan or something like that, you're showing the person that you're getting more money every single year, which means they're more inclined to give you a loan. If you just out of the blue say, "Oh, I just made $80,000, give me a loan," they're going to be like, "Wait, how long have you been doing this business for?" "Oh, I've been doing it for 3 years." And they're going to be like, "Well, where's the taxes for the last two?" And you're going to be like, "Well, I didn't make enough to claim taxes." And they're going to be like, "Well, you're supposed to claim taxes on everything." So it's good to do that. I've always claimed everything from the beginning, and now it's going to work out good because this year we're most likely going to buy a new house. And if I wasn't claiming correctly the years before and showing profit, then I wouldn't be able to get a loan for the house because this is my only sole income now. So it is always smart to claim everything.
Yeah, all your garage sale items. All right, shoot some of these off. Jim, I would contact Autoposher's customer service for if you have any like questions with glitches or anything like that. We talk about Autoposher a lot, but I mean we can answer a lot. But as far as like if something's glitching or whatever, just contact them.
Yeah, Samantha asked what the best cross-listing app is. I think we're both going to say Autoposher because that's the one we use out of all of them.
I don't know. I would say the same thing you did today. I already forget what's the damn thing called?
Nifty.
Yeah. I was watching your live today, and you're like, "What is it called? Damn it! What is it called? Chat? What's it called?" I did the same thing on live today. I had no idea.
It's called Nifty. Hold on, I got to
Nifty.
this a little bit.
Yeah.
Kids are being loud.
Nifty.
Mess up the audio. But yeah, Nifty. I was like, is it Swiftly? Is it like I knew it ended with E at the end. I was like, what's that damn name again? I'm gonna have to get used to it. After a while it's gonna be easy, but yeah.
Yeah. Autoposher's changing the name to Nifty. Nothing else is changing, guys. It's just a different name, so it doesn't look like it's just so niche to Poshmark, which it's not.
Right. Blooming asked, have you started using the expense page on Autoposher? Have you started using it yet? I haven't even looked into it, to be honest.
I haven't. Nope, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm going to use it. I'm going to, obviously I use Jason's spreadsheet for expenses, but I'm literally just going to move that over to Autoposher, and then it's going to, literally the only thing I'll use Jason's spreadsheet for is just Whatnot sales for now until she integrates it. I have talked to her. I'm not going to give too much detail about what we have talked about in the background, but she is working very, very, very diligently on getting Whatnot added. So hopefully that'll happen soon, but she's in talks. She's working on it. It's going to happen this year for sure. It's just a matter of how fast she can get it done. And she's jumping through some hoops right now to try to get it done. So she's working hard on everything. But Etsy comes out on the 1st, so look out for that. How do you separate your spreadsheet from one year to the other, meaning things that sold versus things that haven't sold? How do you do? Well, you don't use a spreadsheet.
I kind of do. What I do is just like all the cost of goods I get for that year, and then what I sold that year is what I use. So whatever I bought in 2024 and then whatever I sold in 2024 is what I use. I don't carry from the years back. I just do the year of.
Yep. Yeah, so if you bought something last year and it sold this year, you use the cost of goods last year as opposed to putting them on this year. So that's how that works out. I think a lot of resellers do that. You can either do it when the item sells. So if you had an $8 cost of goods, you can carry that over a year or two if that's how long it takes to sell that item. But if you do that, you got to do it with every one of your items. You can't do a little bit of both. You got to do either or. And I do it the same way. I just tally up how much I bought that year. So if I spent $50,000 on inventory and I sold $100,000 worth of product, that's $50,000 worth of cost of goods. And then if one of those items that I bought and that $50,000 sells the following year, there is no cost of goods for that because I used it for the previous year. That's basically how I do that. But talk to your tax advisor. They'll give you the best option for you starting out. And they'll look at your expenses and everything and they'll say, do it this way or do it that way. And then I think you can change it. I think it's every 7 years or something like that. You can change from one method to another legally. But again, talk to your tax advisor. They'll help you with that.
Yeah. God, you have so many police cars around your house.
Listen, it's not police cars. It's fire trucks. It's fire
downtown
trucks.
Tampa. Let's see.
Ybor City.
Yeah. Where to get your spreadsheet? That thing that you made a video. He made a video on YouTube recently. You can check out his video.
Yeah, just free reseller spreadsheet. If you type it in my YouTube, you'll find it. It comes right up.
Okay, I was told today I can't drop more than 5 packages off at USPS. They're going to start refusing me. How do I get a receipt for my packages without taking them in? They can't refuse you.
Nope.
They're just bullying you.
They're not allowed to refuse you. What you have is you have a very lazy clerk that you're talking to that doesn't want to scan your packages in. I had to actually argue this with the manager that picks up my packages. Luckily, I have the phone number direct line to their direct line, which usually people don't have. You have to go through the back way. But I asked my mailman for the direct line, called the supervisor, said, "Hey, I was told today that you guys are only scanning 5 packages at my door. What's up with that? I've never had this issue before, but I need my packages scanned in." And she's like, "Well, there's a rule that states you have to scan in. We can only scan in 5 packages at a time." And I said, "Where is that rule written down? Where can I find it on the website?" And then I used to work at the post office, so there's a booklet called the Elm. And I said, "Where in the Elm is it written?" And she got really upset and she hung up the phone on me. So then I called my mailman and I said, "Hey, can you talk to a supervisor for me? Because they're telling me like they can't scan in packages." My mailman's actually the union steward, so it's really good that I have him as my mailman because he knows how to get right to them. And she told me that I had to print out a daily sheet, like a daily pickup sheet. So I did that. I scheduled pickups for the next like 6 months. Every day I have 50 packages, no matter what. Even if I don't, it still sends them that I have 50 packages. So now they have to scan in my packages. And on the bottom of that sheet, he showed me that it literally says, even if you have more than 50, if you have 100 packages, whatever it is, they have to scan in all the packages. It's actually a safety concern too, because if they don't scan that package where it's picked up at and it has a different return address and a different shipping from address, then what can happen is if there's something bad in that package, they'll have no way of tracking exactly where it came from. So it's a safety concern too that they should be scanning in. So what I would do is that probably you're picking up from a clerk who's lazy. Tell them that you want to talk to the supervisor and say, "Hey, I need my packages scanned in." That's part of my payment for my labels. I'm paying to have them scanned in. So
yeah, like, I don't think people understand. You're paying USPS, UPS, and FedEx to ship your items. You're paying for their service. They need you.
Yeah.
So no, that's ridiculous. You talk to the supervisor.
It's funny too because they literally had tour talks when I used to work there all the time about how they need to get more people in, more packages, because that's how they get paid the most. They don't get paid the most from letters; they get paid the most from package pickups. And then when people would get package pickups, they'd make it a big deal because their route got bigger because they're stuck scanning 100 packages at a business that used to ship with UPS is now shipping with USPS. And it would be an argument back and forth between the post office and the union because the carrier would get in trouble for sitting on the route scanning the packages, but that's their job. Like they have to get it done. So so many politics. That's why I'm so glad I'm out of that place. There's too many politics with that place. Yeah.
I've lost it. I've lost it. This chat.
Yeah. Somebody said Nifty. Nifty is the new. Amy said, "Is it Swiftly, Kelsey, or Nifty?" It's Nifty. Nifty.ai.
God, I should call it Swifty. Yeah, go back tomorrow. Part of the problem is that the guy knows he will have a job tomorrow no matter what. Yeah, for real, right? That's the post office, that's a nurse, that's a teacher. But yeah, talk to supervisors. No reason they should be doing that. And our post office tried to, for a while there, they weren't scanning the boxes in. If you did a drop off, they wouldn't scan them in until they were downtown. So it would be like a day later. And I mentioned to the post office lady, I'm like, "Oh, it's nice to see that you guys started scanning them in that day." And she told me, like, yeah, the guy that was taking them in got in trouble because he wasn't scanning them in every single day there at the facility.
Yeah, there was a time too where it was right around Christmas time, and that's usually when they come out with these stupid rules because they get overloaded with packages. And they made a rule in our office like they're only allowed to scan in 20 packages from the front every single day, even though they got thousands in every day. They only had to scan in 20 just to show that they were actually picking up packages. And after a while, they got in trouble for that because you're supposed to scan in all the packages. They just don't want to have to pay people overtime for scanning in, 1,000 packages that got dropped off that day. But they're supposed to. That's why people pay for those labels.
Okay, question. We'll go back to a different subject.
Mm-hmm.
If you had advice to give someone for social media or eBay to get more followers, to get more sales, that's similar, that could cross over, what would it be?
I always say this is consistency. It's consistency with listing. It's consistency with posting. Just doing the right thing consistently will lead you to the right where you want to be is basically what I'm trying to say.
And how long should someone, like, how long should they wait to see results?
I think it depends on what their end goal is. Like, do you want to build $1 million business on eBay, or are you just trying to, pay for a vacation or something like that? I think that decides how long it's going to take you to get there. Because if you're going to build $1 million business, it's going to take you a lot longer than if you want to just pay for a little vacation here and there. If you want to grow social media and you want to be the biggest reseller on social media, or do you just want to make some friends and hang out with some people while you're doing some listings, so that way you don't have to be alone at night and you can fire up a live and be with people? I think that's the question that person needs to ask themselves. If you want to create a $1 million business in 2 years from now, if it's not getting anywhere close to that, then that might be when you say, like, hey, I need to cut this off and maybe pursue something else. But I think it all depends on your goals.
Yeah. So people ask me, I feel like if you're just trying to be a side hustle as far as reselling or social media, you have to be consistent. I would say if you're doing social media, you need to post like every day for a month or every other day for 2 months. And if you're reselling, you need to post like 3 or 5 items a day for a month or 60 days. And after those 60 days, I think you'll start seeing, more followers, more sales, all that sort of stuff. It can't be like someone came in today, said they've been listing since January 6th, I think, and they've already sold 3 items. So it was great. But I could see someone coming in and being like, I've been listing since January 6th and I haven't sold anything. That happens to you, I know, all the time too, right?
Yeah.
So, Ethan, sounds familiar. It needs to be, you got to be consistent, like you said, and you got to give yourself time and grace.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't expect things to happen instantly too. I think a lot of people just they're not paying attention to the advice they're given. Also, like, for example, I get, I was talking about this earlier, where people will come into my live and be like, hey, I'm not selling anything, and I'll go into their stores, figure out what their stores are, and I'll go into them and see that they're listing stuff that just doesn't sell. Like, nobody's told them to pick up Old Navy, yet they have Old Navy listed in their store. And I think, you got to pay attention to what people are giving out for free and the information. That'll definitely help you get to where you want to be. I saw a question up here too. How do you write off garage sale items without receipts? Do you know how you do that?
You just write it down in a notebook and then write it down on. So what you could do is just write the date, write the address if you want to, but you could just write the date, how much you spent on the item, write the item down, and that should be fine.
You can go on Amazon too. There's literally receipt books that you can buy that are super cheap, and you just keep that in your car, in your console, and then when you go to a garage sale, you can write down the address that you bought it from, the price you paid, and how many items you bought. That'll also help you when you get home that day be able to put into a spreadsheet or something, or like figure out what your average cost of goods for that day is. You just go to your receipt book and look at what you bought. I don't do garage sales, so I don't have one of those in my car. But if I did do garage sales consistently, I'd always keep a receipt book in there with a pen.
Speaking of, look who just joined the chat. Bearded Thrifter. Remember when he came out with the cute little garage sale thing?
He did.
Like, here, use my garage sale thing. I've got such a nice voice. Turn your hat around too. Show everyone.
Oh, it's on the back. Yeah, I'm not turning around. I'm keeping him on the back of my head.
Him on the back. He said, "Do I have lipstick?" No, I busted my lip a little bit ago. Punk. Punk.
Oh man, good old Bearded. Where's Bearded been? He's been hiding.
Yeah, he's been hiding. He's literally, what do you expect a dude with a whole bunch of hair? He's been in hibernation all winter. Literally hibernation.
Yep.
That dude.
Let me see if we got any more questions. Have you guys heard of Puma listing Vero listing issues? That just came in. So Puma listing Vero. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. We all got waxed. I got waxed. But I think eBay came back and said, like, you're good. eBay, Puma, when was it? About a month or 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, Puma came up on eBay and were like, listen, everything everybody has is Veroed. So eBay sent out emails to everybody, took down all their Puma listings and gave them a Vero warning. And then I think so many people complained, eBay got word and told everyone, sorry for the mistake. We relisted your item. That's what they did with mine.
Yeah, I think it was, eBay has to comply when they get a Vero. So if a brand sends something in that says like, hey, this item is fake, or they don't have the rights to sell this item, eBay legally has to pull that down. And I think eBay caught on when, everything was getting Veroed and they were getting a lot of complaints, like you were saying. And eBay probably reached out to Puma and said, like, hey, what's going on? Like, all these items can't be fake. Some of these items are pre-owned. You're not really supposed to pull down a pre-owned item. So what's going on? And eventually they overturned all that. So it's something you have to deal with when you're listing on eBay. There's lots of items on the Vero list. You just got to be careful. Don't use the word Velcro in your listing. That is automatically Veroed. Most of the time when you try to list something with the word Velcro, and it'll do a little pop-up and say you can't do it. What's another one? A P90X is another one you can't put on eBay.
1Z, Kevlar.
Yep.
There are a few, but to be honest, I don't even pick up. When they did that, I'm like, great, there's my sign, because Puma's not even selling that well for me anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't pick up Puma anymore anyways.
Hey, thank Cookie Corn. They just sent you a $20 super chat.
What? Cookie Corn, what are you doing?
Let's
Coffee
go.
Monster Fun. This morning, someone in my chat was like, thanks, Cookie Corn. Cookie Corn and Cookie come to my chat, and they have a cookie fight every time. But
Nice.
I was drinking Monster this morning. Someone was like, that's poison in your body. I'm like, alcohol is poison. I don't drink. At least,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. Poison me.
Somebody said, Christy said, so 1 to 3 sales a week in the beginning is typical. I've been in since October, listing 5 to 10 a day consistently, watching every video I can find and looking up almost every item. So you've been selling since October, 1 to 3 sales every day. Yeah, I would say if you're listing 5 to 10 every day since October, you probably haven't been listing every single day. You're probably taking weekends off and stuff like that. But you might have, let's say, 250 listings. Selling 1 to 3 items a day is good in my opinion. You're going to get better as you go, sourcing better items and selling more consistently, but 1 to 3 is perfect. If you're selling anything consistently within the first 6 months of starting, getting 1 to 3 sales per day, I think you're doing pretty good.
Because you also have to remember your store, people want to try. You got 10 positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to go to a store that have 10,000. So you're kind of going against the flow to start. Also, I recommend a lot of people are like, how do I get feedback? If you're trying to get feedback, buy some really cheap items off of eBay packing supplies, and you'll get automatic positive feedback when you buy it. So the cheapest packing supply you can find, like a thank you sticker from eBay or whatever, and eBay will give you positive feedback. So if you're trying to get some positive feedback and you're just starting out, that's a good way to do it.
Yep. Michael said Goodwill jacking up their prices with an exclamation mark. What do you think about Goodwill hasn't been jacking up prices in your area, right? They're pretty much the same?
Today I put out a video. They had Rock Revival. I was happy to find them. They were really nice Rock Revival jeans for $20, and I was happy to find them. Those sell for $80 all day long on eBay. Super flat pockety, bejeweled, all that. Yeah, so what happened was, we get that all the time, you and I both. Right after the pandemic, when I think everyone had money and the supply chains were cut, Goodwill was really bringing it in. Everyone was shopping, resellers coming out. They upped all of our prices on a lot of brands. And then a lot of those brands ended up at the bins, and they know that. So that lasted about a year of the price hikes, and now they brought it back down to where they were. For example, Under Armour, Nike, all those brands, they were priced up double, and now they're back down to where they were. So I feel like if you're going through that type of thing, be patient. But I also say, okay, if they price up at Nike, great. Go find the Lululemon or the Rhone or the other brands that they don't know about. You have to work around it. There's tons of money to be made.
Yep. Yeah. Red, white, and blue is very similar. In our area, there's certain red, white, and blues that have been pricing up, and other ones have been keeping their prices down. And the ones that are keeping their prices down usually are seeing more foot traffic. And they go through ebbs and flows. Things will start getting increased in prices, and the resellers will go there and see the increased prices, and then just go down the street to the Goodwill or go down the street to the City Thrift and thrift the same exact items that they see at Red, White, and Blue. So it goes up, and then nothing sells, and then those stores are forced to drop their prices, because now they're having, not only do they have to send employees out to stock the items, to price the items, now they're having those same employees go out and pull those items and reprice those items and put them back on the shelf. They're literally wasting so much time, resources, and money dropping those prices that they see that, the management sees that, and they start dropping them. So we haven't been to the Hillsboro Red, White, and Blue in probably a month and a half, specifically for that reason. Their pricing got out of control. We're probably going to go back maybe tomorrow or Wednesday and see what their pricing is like, but I'm almost certain that it's come down a little bit because I've heard a lot from resellers in the area that they just got too out of control and people just stopped going. So, and we're going to different red, white, and blues that have been dropping their prices. So it goes up and down. Our Goodwills in our area had everything priced during COVID at $7.98, no matter what it was. And they recently dropped those prices down like within the last 6 months, and now everything's at $7.98. Some things are $6.98, some things are $5.98. So, yeah, if they don't sell stuff, it costs them money to not sell it. So they need to sell it if it's out on the floor.
I think we all need to keep a business mind. If you are red, white, and blue, or you're Goodwill, you're trying to make as much money as you can. You're running this business. You're getting paid to bring in money, right? So you're going to try. Okay, I see there's a lot of resellers out there. I see there's a lot of this certain inventory selling really, really quickly. Let's try to up our prices and make more revenue on these items. And if it's not working, we're going to drop our prices just like we would with our eBay store. Okay, let's see if we can, up our cost of goods for a few things, and then if it doesn't work, okay, well, let's try promoting and doing some sales. So you got to think in their mind too. They're trying to make money as well.
Yep. And if the prices increase, there's always options to go out and get inventory. I was literally just obviously I have social media, so it helps me a little bit. But today I was hit up by somebody who goes to the Goodwill bins locally, and they just messaged me out of the blue and said, "Hey, would you be interested if I bought items at the Goodwill bins and you bought them at the same price as you buy in the store? So $5 to $7 a piece. They're buying them for $1, and we can just set up a relationship where every week I come and just drop off inventory to you. I'll wash it, I'll clean it, I'll make sure it's good, I'll make sure it's not stained, and we'll set up a relationship." I was like, "Yep, if you pick up the brands I like, sure." And that's something that obviously with social media that helps, but that's something anybody can go to the Goodwill bins and find a couple people and just pass out flyers and say, "Hey, I'm willing to buy inventory directly from you. Here's a list of stuff I'm looking for. If you find this stuff, just let me know and I'll come once a week and buy it off of you. I'll even come to the bins where you're at and buy it off of you." So Goodwill's too pricey. There's so many options out there. We talk about Bo's way of doing it. Like he put out these calls that go to specific demographic within his city, and people are literally just shipping him items, or he's going to pick up items from people's houses every single day. So there's so much opportunity. That's why when we get those comments on those videos, like, "Hey, you're giving out all the secrets. You're the ones increasing Goodwill prices." I'm like, there's so much out there. Like, if Goodwill is too pricey, go find another source. There's so much. It's never ending supply.
And there's stuff in that Goodwill that's sitting there that is not pricey. You can find it. You just might have 100%. To not do men's clothing. My granny, the thank you cards, I get that question a lot. I think whatever works for you guys, whatever you want to do for your business. I know there's someone I follow, Lulu Ray. She wraps everything up in tissue paper and puts a nice little thank you note on it. It's really good presentation, and that's her business. And she probably gets return customers because of that. Chris at Peak writes a hand thank you card or note for every single one of his purchases. That's really nice customer service. So it's whatever you want to do. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. Yep. I don't do it, and that doesn't make it right or wrong. And I think it's good customer service. I think it's nice.
Yeah, I don't do it either. I just feel like it's most of the people that get those like, "Oh, that's nice," and they just throw it away and they don't really think twice about it. There's obviously some people that are like, "Oh, I'm going to go back and buy it from this person because they took extra time," but
you're heartless though. Like, you don't care.
No. Yeah.
You don't care if people send you a thank you card, right?
I read it and I do the same thing. I'm like, "Oh, that's nice," and I throw it away. Chris sends me thank you cards when I was buying his coffee frequently, and I just threw it away. I was like, "Oh, that's nice of Chris." We actually collected them. We kept them on the table, and I never read them, and then we just had a whole pile of them. Tammy wants to know what's a good replacement word for Velcro. Do you know what the replacement word is?
Hook and loop.
Yep, hook and loop is what you use for Velcro if you're making a listing, and you want to include the word Velcro but not include it. You'd use hook and loop.
If you're getting started by selling stuff around the house, do you do everything or just things above a certain value?
What was the question again? Sorry, I was reading another person's.
Oh, you're good. So if you're selling stuff around the house to start off with, or if you just want to make some extra money, look around the house. No, I think whatever you have that can make money. Like I'm looking around, if there's something like I can sell that right now for $12, they'll sell overnight. I'm gonna list it. So that's up to you. That's up to you.
I sold a Coogee for $275 because it was just laying around this room the other day.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So this dude said, this was my first Coogee I've ever gotten. I was like, it means a lot to me. I would sell it for what did you say? I don't know.
You said sell it for 700, and that's.
He's like,
that's
I don't know if I could do that. I don't think I could sell that Coogee. And then I put on there like, sell for 700. He's like, yeah, you want to give me 700, so I'll sell for 700. Not 5 minutes later, I see his wheels turning, because y'all see his wheels turning in his big old head he has. You see the wheels turning, and he's like, all right, how about 250 or 275? I'll just put it in there. I bet Surf doesn't get on there. Luckily, I was in there when that happened. And 1 second went by at the very end, and I swiped, and I got it. So I'm going to hang his first Coogee he ever got right there. Right there. And you're going to have regret. You will have regret.
I'll just find the exact same one on like Mercari this year, same size, and I'll just put it up. And
it will. You don't have a heart, but you will have regret, and you also knowing that I have your Coogee will probably piss you off even more.
You can have it at $275. I think if you watch the video, I think I paid, I want to say $125 for that Coogee, so I made a nice little profit. I'll take that profit.
I paid Kayla. You're welcome.
Yeah, this one's also for sale, Surfs. If you want the one right there, I'll sell that one to you for $300.
Is there any sentimental value? You gonna make up a story?
That one, that was my second Coogee I ever thrifted.
I don't want. Either first or last. All right.
I see a comment from Stephen McAdams over on your side. I really appreciate you too. I shipped out my best sale ever today. Thanks to Wayne. Turnbull and Asser full length wool overcoat. Took an offer of $535. Picked it up at Goodwill for $12. That is crazy. That is crazy. Wild.
I'm telling you, these people, like, I don't want to say these people, but the people that watch the channel come in and tell us these sales are like way better than like most sales I've ever gotten in my life. I don't think I've ever sold a jacket for that much money.
That's when you get addicted to it. You're like, as soon as you sell something for that high, you're like, okay, I need to go back to Goodwill tomorrow and see what I can find. I didn't even know Turnbull and Asser made overcoats. I knew they made dress shirts and ties and things like that, but full length wool overcoat is something that's a once in a lifetime kind of find. So good for you, Steven. $535 sale.
I didn't know about I didn't know about that brand until you. So I'll give you credit for that too.
All the brands recently I've been finding, like I used to do research all the time, but recently I haven't been having to because I learned so much from chats and things like that. But I'm just going to eBay and looking up like the Johnson Woolen Mills. Like you found one right after I made that video, and I literally found that brand just by researching eBay sold comp. So if you guys are out there and trying to learn brands, easiest way is just go on eBay, type in like overcoat, like wool overcoats, and just filter for $50 or more, and you're just going to scroll through and you're going to see the same name over and over and over again. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to write that down and I'm going to research that one alone separately, and that's basically what I do to figure out like these bolos. So anybody can do it. You can just spend 30 minutes a day, and if you do that every single day for a year, you're going to know way more brands than either of us know because you've spent that time actually researching those specific brands. So easy to do. Free knowledge right there on eBay.
Yep.
What do you got?
I got a long one here for you.
Okay.
Rock Revival for 80. I just sold a pair that sat for months in my store. I finally took an offer 25. Amy, it just depends on what they look like. The ones I got today, if you watched my video, they're like an $80 pair. Size 34 men's, really heavy, $80 pair.
Yeah, I had a video before a while ago for a pair of Rock Revivals. I think I paid like $60 for them in pre-owned condition, and I sold them for $130 or something like that within like 2 days of listing. So there's certain styles that are just worth more. The ones that are really good are the painted ones, like the all over painted, like distressed, destroyed ones. Some of those are collectible too. I forget what the tag says on the inside. It doesn't say collectible, but it's like it's a different word they use on the inside, and it's
just collectible.
Not collectible, but it says what is the word that they use?
Limited edition?
Yeah, limited edition or something. I don't think it's limited edition. Something like that. It'll say on the inside, and those are specifically like worth a ton of money. It's kind of like Robert Graham limited edition shirts. Like those are worth tons of money. Same thing for Rock Revivals too.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know they had some of those. Kay, any suggestions with Poshmark problem? I've been selling since the end of September, have done well, with about 450 sales on eBay plus Poshmark, Mercari, and Depop. Been humming along. Sorry, jump chat. Humming along. The Poshmark just emptied my closet and restructured my account. It's still there, but I can't do anything. I've contacted them through support first time in over 2 weeks and nothing. Any suggestions? When
So
I've
they
had
said,
trouble with Poshmark, I've contacted their customer support, and it wasn't as good as eBay, but I eventually got a hold of them.
so they restricted is the word. You said restructure. They restricted their account. Yeah, so basically they emptied their store and they restricted it. You'd have to reach out to support to see why they restricted your account. They should have sent you some kind of email to say like, "Hey, you haven't shipped on time. You canceled too many listings," which I've never heard Poshmark do that. Or you're selling fake goods and they caught you selling fakes. Like, there's got to be a reason why they restricted, or it was just 100% their mistake. And if you reach out to them and you're like, "Hey, you restricted my account. What's the reason?" If they did it on accident, they'll probably just be like, "Oh, that was an accident," and they'll just boot your account right back up and you'll be good to go. So it's nothing that we can really help with. I've never had any of my accounts restricted. So yeah, you'd have to reach out to them and figure out exactly what the reasoning was.
Jim, I said rounding up. I'm wondering if you're talking about like rounding up at Goodwill, like our Goodwill say, do you want to round up? That's a thing. If I get a lot of inventory, I'm like, sure. But I mean, to me, it's we shop so much there. I'm like, no, all my purchases is a roundup. I'm donating my money to you every time.
I always do it just how close I am to the next dollar. So if I'm at like 95 cents and it's only cost me 5 cents to round up, I'm like, okay, I'll just round up. It's 5 cents.
Doubt it. Okay, how about this? When I'm out with Bearded thrifting, do you think he rounds up or no?
No, absolutely not. He doesn't. He actually tries to round down. He's like, "Can I get a deal on this stuff?"
He's like, "What?"
Yep. He's like, "This is too expensive. This is Goodwill.
No way. I've never heard that dude round up.
He probably has like 15, 20% off coupons in his pocket. They tell him the price, and he's just like, "Nope, 20% off. Here you go. I'm not gonna get it. I'm not even rounding up either." Somebody asked how many red, white, and blues are near you. So I'm assuming they're asking me. We have 4 now. So we have 2 in Tampa, the Tampa Bay area, Hillsborough, and then the Waters one. Then there's one in Riverview that just opened, and then there's one in Sarasota. So we have 4, all of which are within like an hour to an hour 15 drive from where I am here. The Hillsborough one's like 45 minutes away. The next one is an hour. Riverview's an hour, and then Sarasota is about an hour 15 for me. So we do travel to get to some of those, but we are pretty lucky where we are. And then they just opened a City Thrift, which is kind of like red, white, and blue. And then we have a ton of Goodwills. Like in my area, between here and Tampa and all around, we probably have, I would say, 10 to 15, somewhere between those numbers of Goodwills, and then Salvation Armies. And then we have Sunshine Thrift too. So we have all those.
So many thrift stores down there.
If I went thrifting, that's what I was telling people this morning in my live. If I went thrifting every day and tried to hit all the Goodwills and all the thrift stores in my area, I would legitimately probably get 1,000 pieces of inventory every week because there's so much. But I only go to 3 to 4 thrift stores every week because that's all I need to get enough inventory.
I also heard you tell people if I lived an hour away from a city, I would drive to the city.
We
have to make time.
We drive an hour 15 to get to the Sarasota on Fridays. Like that's a drive for us. And it's not like it's right around the corner. So if I was in like a smaller area and there's a big city an hour away, I would do that once or twice a week. Is drive to that city, wake up early, and just go there and get enough inventory. Yolo said advice on finding flea markets. You don't source at flea markets too often, do you?
No, I think you talked about that today.
Yeah.
No, we don't have a ton of flea markets where I live in Indianapolis. No.
Yeah, we have flea markets here. I've heard they're not good. I get enough inventory from thrift stores. I don't go to flea markets. I think it would be a good like YouTube video for me to go to a flea market, but would I make that an every week stop? Probably not. Flea markets are usually more expensive than thrift stores, but you can also find certain vendors that have really good stuff every week, so you can get consistent inventory. So there's benefits to them, but where we are, I just haven't. I also live in like the garage sale mecca, and I don't go garage selling either. So I just get enough from thrift stores. I don't really have to.
I know some people just do flea markets. So I mean, whatever, making those connections. I think some people watch Tech and Sports. And he always talks about going to flea markets and how he makes connections there. It's good. I think anywhere you go, you need to make connections. You just never know.
Yep, you can get. I mean, Tech buys every week. He gets like a whole mound of stuff from like the same vendors every week, and he just built those connections. And it's just like going to the bins, like I was talking earlier, and
That's
building
cool.
those connections at the bins. Like you can do that at flea markets too. I got hiccups.
Kathy wants to know she says she's been watching us since June. Thanks, Kathy. Any benefits from becoming a top rated seller?
You get a discount in fees, I believe, if you have your listings set up to free shipping and free returns, or no, free returns, I think.
Yeah,
One of those.
So free shipping and 1 day handling time.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You get top rated plus.
Oh, okay.
So back when we started, it was top rated, and then
Right.
maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago, they changed it on all of us to top rated plus, where you get a discount and like a small, like a 10% off, 10% off final value fee, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, which isn't much. It's 10% off your fee. That's like kind of like Whatnot gives you 10% off your fees, but 10% off of 8% is only 7.2% now. It's not like a huge
It's not a
boost.
big deal. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm just top rated, and I've been above. I'm above average. But no, I've just been top rated before, and I'm fine with that. That's where I'm at right now. I don't get any discounts, and people see that, I think, on your storefront. It might say top rated, or you might get a little tag next to it. But really, I honestly think on eBay, it's such a search driven platform where people are just looking for a specific item. And if you have a good picture and a good price, I think that's fine. But no, I don't think top rated, you get that much benefit out of it, Kathy. But
Yeah.
congratulations. It's a good thing. It means you're doing the right stuff on eBay.
By the way, appreciate your purchase this weekend, Kathy. Thrifting Grammy. She bought a pair of shoes off or Whatnot, so I appreciate you.
Dude, don't buy any. Why did I say don't buy stuff from you on Whatnot? I bought two things from you.
Enforcers, I think that's how they pronounce her name. My Goodwill manager admitted to raising prices, and thanks to YouTubers and TikTok Bolo videos and Get Rich Selling This videos. I think I know where they're getting the Get Rich Selling This video because that's literally my title of my video. But I don't care. Goodwill raising their prices. They did it recently in our area during COVID, and guess what? All the resellers left, and I would actually go into the Goodwills and find more stuff when that happened because all the resellers didn't go to those thrift stores anymore, and those items just don't sell in thrift stores. Goodwill does. Goodwill and other thrift stores don't realize like the clientele on the internet and the clientele inside the store are two different types of clientele. When you walk into a Goodwill or you walk into a red, white, and blue and it says thrift on the title, they're expecting thrift store prices. And when they walk in and the first thing they see is a $15 item, they walk out and they lose sales. And those things go on discount sales or they get pulled and end up at the bins. So to me, I don't really care. I mean, it might hurt some people's feelings when we put out videos and Goodwill realizes these brands and mark them up, but they just don't sell. They're not going to sell in store for the prices that they're asking. So yeah. And also, I always say this too. Goodwill knows when you're a reseller when you walk in the store. So even if you aren't putting out Bolo videos, if you walk up to the counter with a stack of clothing that's all different sizes, those employees are going through those items and looking at what the tags look like, and then they're relaying that to the manager and telling them to price up those items. So even if you didn't put out a video, they would know to price up those items that you're bringing to the front counter because they see the same brands over and over, and they know who the resellers are. If you're at the thrift store every single day buying a bunch of random stuff, they know you're a reseller. So even if you didn't put out the Bolo videos, they're still going to raise the prices on those items if they wanted to. So either way, you're going to, it's a double-edged sword.
This is how I mean, I got the Mamba mentality when it comes to it. Number one, what's up, anybody from the Goodwills in Indiana watching Indy area? Because I'm friends with all the manager and I'm friends with all the employees. Like, I talk to them, I'm friendly with, I love them all. I really do. There's like none that I don't like. And they look at me like, what you got there? What you got there? And I'm like, I'll sell this for 25. I got this. I'll sell this for 50. But they don't know everything. I can go into any of those thrift stores and find stuff that they don't know. To me, it's that mama mentality. Like, I'm going to find stuff and you don't know about it. You can't know about all these brands. And by the time you do know about them and it trickles down, those brands are going to be out of style, like Miss Me jeans. I mean, I know they're back, but I remember when they started pricing those up, it's like I don't even pick those up anymore. My Goodwill, one of my Goodwills, the manager, like, I found Lululemon in there before, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe that got by." And I'm like, "Here you go, you can have it," because it doesn't sell that well for me anymore.
Yep. Your job as a reseller is to be better than thrift stores.
Yeah,
That's your
bring it.
job. So
I love it. Bring it.
yeah,
And if you go in there with your head down and half half glass full mentality, like you got to change it. You got to try to go in there and be like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna beat this thrift store at their game.
yep. Yeah, a lot of people want it to be easy like it was years and years ago, and they get upset because it's not as easy as it used to be. But there's a lot more brands out there than there used to be too. So there's a lot more opportunity too. You just got to think of it, glass half full, like you're saying. Stephanie said Sarasota changes their sale tags on Thursday and Sunday. Yeah, somebody messaged me today that too. In our area where we are, that's always Friday. So or not Friday, it's always Sunday. So when I put out that video, I just assumed that they would keep the same. But yeah, I was wrong in that video. They actually changed it on Thursday. But either way, those two items sat out there for basically almost 2 days. They sat out there for a day and a half, and I still found them for $1. So, but yeah, I figured that out today. That was a miscommunication on my end in that video.
Real quick, I missed a ton. Guys, sorry we missed the chats. We come on here and basically we're like, we're just gonna shoot the shit and talk about certain things and then read the chat when we can and answer some questions. Dark said, have you ever been to a Goodwill Grand opening? How is it? Got one coming up. I can tell you, I've been to 2. One of them was really, really good, where I had 3 carts full of really good stuff. The other one, Bearded met me at. Actually, he surprised me, no joke. I got there. He can't not come to something when there's a big sale. I literally got there like an hour and a half before it opened, and he was standing in the first one in line, and my heart just fluttered. But besides that Goodwill had nothing. So I would definitely try it, Dark. I would go and do it because it's a flip of a coin. One of mine was really good and one of mine wasn't. I would go and do it. They pack them full, and all the managers and all the people from all around and the corporate people come to those, and they want people to come and see all the good stuff, and they pack those full, and they pack it full all day long where I live. They keep bringing new inventory out all day long. So I don't know. Have you ever been to one?
Yeah, I've been to one. It was when I was like new to reselling. I didn't really know too many brands, but I did find. I remember I was on one side of the aisle and there's another guy on the other side of the aisle, and this is when like Tommy Bahama was selling like really hot, and I found like all over back hit ones. There was like on my side there was like 10 of them, and on his side there was another 10 of them. So he got 10 of them, I got 10 of them, and they were all like $5 a piece. This is like back in the good days when Goodwill was cheaper. But yeah, I hauled out at that store. But I haven't been to one since. Trisha invited me to come out to one near her, but we didn't get enough time to drive up there and see it. But yeah, usually you just want to stop in and see how good the store is. And I would go back multiple times that week because, like Brad's saying, they're going to restock them consistently because they want to keep that fresh inventory out for all the new people that are coming into their store. So it might be one of those stores you hit up 2-3 times that week just to see, what they got on the shelves.
For sure.
Susan asks, great tie video. Good video on good tie brands to look for. How do you package them for shipping? So this is controversial. When I first started shipping ties, everybody was like, you need to put the ties in boxes. Like you can't ship in a poly bag because it's going to ruin the tie. And I just fold my ties up in thirds, put them into a clear bag and put them into a poly bag and ship them out. You can put them in boxes if you want. I feel like that adds weight and it's also more expensive for boxes. I've never had a complaint. Never had somebody, I've shipped out probably last year somewhere around 100 ties, and I've never had a complaint about the way I ship them. So I do the bag method. I'm assuming you do the same thing.
Let us be your guys' guinea pigs. Okay, so that's how you do it. Have you had any complaints?
0.
No. Okay. So you can literally put them in a poly mailer like this, ship them, and 0 complaints. I have also had 0 complaints. You guys have watched my shipping videos with me, and I know a lot of people cringe. I've never had someone ever get anything where they're like, this came wrinkled or this came in a way they didn't like. Never. So do what you want. If you want to put it in a tissue paper and a sticker and a box, do it. But you can send them out just like this without a complaint.
Yep. Yeah, we just throw them in a clear bag, ship them out. I mean, if I sold like a $400 tie, then maybe I take a little bit extra care and, put it into a box and make sure it looks all pretty because that's a really expensive tie. But most of the ties I'm selling are between $15 to $30. They're not huge sales. And, the person buying it is just going to probably wear it for an occasion or two. And to be honest, no matter how you roll that up, or it's going to have some kind of creases, and the person's going to take it and use the steam cleaner and make sure it's all straight before they actually use it. So just fold it up. Like I seen people too, like I get comments on like the shipping videos I do, is like, when you fold that up, isn't the person mad that it's wrinkled? I'm like, no matter how I put this in the package, it's going to be wrinkled when it arrives. Like there's no way to ship this flat. You have to fold it up somehow. So yeah.
Get it in a garment bag.
Yeah, ship it in a garment bag, and it's going to cost you like $30 to ship that item. Like, doesn't make sense.
Gosh. Timmy. Oh, so many good questions. What's up, everybody? I see a lot of people. What's up? I can't put anybody, but I was telling you about him the other day. Heart Pickers. He just joined, said what's up. Heart Pickers is someone I used to watch. Used to watch Rally Roots like way back. I used to watch them too. And Heart Pickers, he's in the YouTube chat if you guys want to follow him. He's where I learned all my high-end brands. Like when I first started out, my suits, my blazers, my ties, all that stuff, I would just binge his content, and that's how I learned all those brands. And all those brands are the brands that the thrift stores don't know about. Those Nordstrom brands, those, boutique brands, those are the brands thrift stores don't know about. I learned them all from him when I first started. So
I'm trying to find his comment. Is it near the bottom? Man, we've missed so many comments.
Towards the top.
Boys. Oh, because I could pin it, but I can't find it.
I can't do it since you started the chat. But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So he's a good one to follow. I keep telling him he needs to come out with a video. I told him just go through like all those brands. There's no one out there that's going through all the high end brands and telling people like what the bolos are on all these high end brands. That's a niche no one's talking about.
Boom! Look at that. I found it.
There he is.
Yep,
so
go follow.
Yep.
I forgot I can do this. We should have been doing this the whole time, where we like highlighting the questions that we're reading.
I can do it on my own live, but I can't do it on this.
I never do it, to be honest. I just usually when I'm just reading chat. I should probably do it more often. Actually, that's
yeah,
smart.
You should.
God, I'm such a rookie.
You are a rookie.
Oh man, I had a question, but now I scrolled to find that. What's the longest time it took to sell a hot eBay item? That's kind of a weird question. If it's a hot eBay item, it should sell pretty quick, right?
It should sell like that.
Yep, based off sell-through. By the way, let's talk about that, because I get so many people mad when I say sell-through rate. How do you calculate sell-through rate, Surfs?
Hold on. Let's go back. I'm such a hypocrite too. So often I'm like, I'm just trying to get money. That's worth $100. I'll sell it for $50 because I paid $5 for it. But then like today I realized I had a pair of jeans that I was holding out for $80 for. I had them for like 6 months. I'm a hypocrite. It just depends on the item. So don't at me, people. Sell-through rate, for me, it's like, to me, you can make your own sell-through rate. I think the most important thing is your buy cost. If you're picking the item up, buy cost. For example, let's just talk about it. This shirt right here. Let's say this shirt. People are selling this shirt. It's a Polo Ralph Lauren Hawaiian shirt. People are buying it. There's 100 of them listed, but only 5 have sold. The 5 that have sold for $35. Everybody else has them listed for $100. So I'm going to list mine at $30 while everyone has them listed at $100. Guarantee this thing sells like in a day or a week. So my sell-through rate is probably like 500%. Mm-hmm. So that's how I calculate sell-through rate. I mean, you can do like numbers in your phone and all that crap. I don't. If an item is selling and I can get it cheap and I know if I can price it for whatever and it will sell, that's how I calculate. I do it in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, when I made that sell-through rate video, like the really quick one, I had a bunch of people, not a bunch, I had like 3 or 4 people comment. And it's like, that's not the way you calculate sell-through rate. Sell-through rate is you take the total number that's currently listed and sold, and then you divide it by the number sold. And that's how you get your sell-through rate. So if they have, 50 listed and 50 sold, that would be, 50 divided by 100, that would be a 50% sell-through rate. Whereas if we do it calculated our way, it would be 100% sell-through rate because it's 50 divided by 50. And to be honest, either way you calculate it, it's just a way to tell you how fast that item is going to sell. That's why I use the sell-through rate that I use. I know Tech uses the same sell-through rate. There's a lot of higher-end eBay sellers that use the same kind of sell-through rate. Basically, it's just a formula to figure out how fast the item is going to sell. Again, the way Surfs is saying is, if you have something that's consistently selling for $100 and you price yours at $50, yours is going to sell super fast. The sell-through rate just increases significantly because you priced it way under market and you're going to get a quicker sale. But if you're pricing at market, the way I do it is listed versus sold. That's how I do it. That's how I've always done it. Either way, no matter how you do it, it's still the proper formula. But people get mad when they're like, you can't have over 100% sell-through rate. And like, if you use this formula, you can, because it just tells you that that item should sell before 90 days. If you price it appropriately, it should sell before 90 days if it has over 100% sell-through rate. That's all that is.
People get so hung up on sell-through rate, and I blame creators, content creators. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just, people talk like the sell-through rate's 35%, the sell-through rate's 100%. Once you do this for a while, you just realize like, okay, that's an item people pick up. I can buy it for cheap, so I can create my own sell-through rate on it. And in my opinion, I feel like people spend too much time with that. At first, it is important, but you're just looking for a good item anyways. Sell-through rate's going to correlate with a good item.
Yeah.
So you guys watch his video and figure out the calculations. I don't do all that.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody says, what size mailers do you use for jeans? What size mailers do you use for your jeans?
Unpopular opinion, for jeans, I use padded flat rate envelopes.
Yeah, I used to use those.
When I do it on eBay, I for Judy Blue, now I've been listing some Judy Blues this week. I've been doing those grounds, and I do like 10 by 13 by 1 now because it's cheaper to do by 1. But yeah, padded flat rate envelopes are what I use for jeans.
Yep. If you want to make it super simple, if you're new to selling jeans and you just want to make it very, very easy, padded flat rate is the way to go. You just put that in your eBay listing, charge the padded flat rate to your customer, and then when you sell a pair of jeans, they just slide in there super easy. I use same size. I think it's 10 by 13 is the poly bags, and I just upgraded mine to 10 by 13. I use them for shirts now and everything. I don't have 2 different size poly bags. And I get them from gyropack.com. I got a link in my bio with that 10% off coupon if you guys want it. But yeah, I just use 10 by 13s. I do everything ground advantage. I used to do a lot of paddeds until they started increasing the prices. I think they're like at $9, almost $10 now. And sometimes it's cheaper for the buyer just to use a ground advantage label. And I recently changed it over to where buyers pay the same rate that I pay on eBay. So I give my discounted rate to them. So usually they're paying under the padded flat rate for under the padded flat rate for a ground advantage label. So that's why I do that.
You just did that about a week ago, so we'll come back maybe in a month. We'll circle back around.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a huge uptick in sales yet, but yeah, we'll have to see how that goes.
When I started promoting my store at 9%, immediately I saw an increase of sales.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people are like, you're giving eBay all this more. I'm in the business of moving product. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what now? If I can move it fast, great.
There's businesses that don't put out, commercials, and there's other businesses that put out commercials on the Super Bowl. So, and the reason they do that is because they know they're going to get so much traffic in from that commercial, and they're willing to pay up for it. So that's exactly what you're doing with your business.
Yep.
Do you store suits hanging, or do you thing fold in half in the tote? How do you store your suits? Do you hang them, or do you put them in like your inventory system?
I hang mine.
Yeah, I hang mine too. I think suits, they take a little bit longer to sell usually, and if you fold those up, I mean, does it damage them? No, but it might, cause a little bit too many wrinkles. So I just hang mine. All my suits are hanging in my kids' closet. They have a whole bunch of extra space, so I just put the suits in there.
For show.
Heart Pickers is HART. Heart Pickers. Are you planning to scale up in 2025? What are you planning to do? Are you going to stay the same, or are you scaling up socials? Like, what is your plan?
I just have to beat you on everything.
Can't.
Like.
By the way, everybody on YouTube, thank Brad for putting me onto YouTube and pushing me, because he literally started this year off by saying, "I'm going to beat you to 20K subscribers." That's how it all started. And I was like, I bet you won't.
How often a day do we text each other about competing in some way or another?
I think when we wake up every morning, there's like at least one message from either one of us, like,
for sure,
"Hey, I'm going to beat you at this today."
For sure. And you know what? Because it does push him. Like I told him, I'm like, dude, I had a short doing really good I'm going to beat you to 20,000 on YouTube. And he was slacking on YouTube. So he started making videos and he hit 20,000 before me. You're welcome. But you need people around you like that. You need people around you.
He's always pushing me. He's always challenging me. I mean, I can't let him win. That's stupid to let him win.
He does not want me to win, but I do.
I like to let him get close, okay, chat? I like to let him get really close to me, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it," and then I just like turn on the guns and like, "Oh, see you later."
I win at life. Let's go.
You got more hair than me, so you win at that, I guess.
I was thinking about that. You need to get some like the hair transfusion things.
No, I'm actually liking beanies. I wish I didn't live in Florida because beanies I think look good on my head. I actually just bought. I had Mercari credits from people like signing up through Mercari. I guess people do that in my link tree. I didn't know people did that. I have like $50 in credits, so I just bought an Arc'teryx beanie, brand new with tags, and it's on the way for free because Mercari credits.
Dang. You don't
Yeah,
like
so
resell that mug.
that's gonna be a personal black beanie. But I just wish I didn't live in Florida. I can't wear beanies in the middle of summer.
I know you look like, I mean, you live in Florida. When people say that and you're living there right now, obviously, I think it's weird that you're wearing.
I look like JD Vance. That's what your wife said.
Yeah, Shelby. My wife is like, guys, chat. Who's with us? Like Shelby's like, I can't help but think. We were watching the inauguration day. She's like, I can't help but think. Every time I see that dude, that's KayWay. Every time.
I shaved my beard, so now it doesn't probably look the same. I need to have a little bit of a longer beard.
You look like the dude. You look like the dude. Who's better at Call of Duty? Tammy. It depends which game. All day I'm the best at search or what's the one I'm good at? Hide and seek? What is the one?
He plays hide and seek like a little kid. He's like, oh, let's go hide and seek now. I'm good at that game.
I'm good at that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm awful at Call of Duty. Like, I'm not good. Not good.
Lenoris, that's what it is. So where can I learn all the clothing brands? Is there a book? How did you learn the clothing brands to resell surfs?
I just binged free content on YouTube. I binged it in my Bluetooth speaker in my car while I was driving. I binged it while I was listing. I binged it while I was taking pictures. I binged it when I was going to bed. I literally binged YouTube because I liked making that side hustle money, and I was doing it every day. It was like a snowball effect.
Yeah, I learned the same thing from videos. I don't think there's probably bolo like lists and stuff out there to look for, but the problem is, for example, let's talk about like LL Bean. There's bolos within LL Bean that you should be on the lookout for, but all LL Bean is not a pickup. So if somebody made a bolo list and they put LL Bean on there, you're going to pick up all LL Bean and you're going to pick up ones that don't sell because you find way more that doesn't sell than the ones that actually do sell. Like barn jackets are like a big bolo and LL Bean, they sell really well. But an LL Bean short sleeve polo shirt is not going to sell like at all. It's like a really low end item. So that's the hard part about making bolo lists. We both get asked all the time to make these lists, and you have to go so in depth that it doesn't make sense to make a book about that. And that's why I started making the videos, because I can actually go within the brand and like show photos, show listings, and that will stick with you a lot better. And that's why I stuck to 5 items, because if I did 150, which I could do and put out one of those videos every month, by the 5th or 6th item, you're probably like leaving that video and you'll forget all the rest of them. So yeah, watch videos. Short form content is like king right now for learning. Back in our day, we had to like actually watch. Back in my day, I had to watch all the YouTube videos.
Only like 5 people.
Yeah, but now you can go on short form and just type in eBay bolos, and you can just scroll through, and there'll be like 30-second videos back to back to back of just learning about eBay items to look for. So that's what I do.
And I'm not like, for real, if people, there are tons of people out there with bolo lists and courses and all that stuff. I'm not against that sort of thing. If it's like $25 or whatever and it's worth it to you, go do it. But for me, that's just for you too, that's what we did. And kind of the whole point of this business is you can start from nothing. You can start from stuff around your house and watch free content, and there's not many businesses you can do that with.
Yeah. Robbie said, is Peter Millar dead? Outside the college logos and Masters logos doesn't seem to move. Don't seem to move like they used to. What do you think about Peter Millar?
My buy cost is like $5.25, so I pick it up still. It's definitely died off, but I just sold a Peter Millar vest earlier today. Peter Millar vest for $44.99.
Yep.
So again, it's within the brand, right? As Chris
Exactly.
was in the chat.
Yep, exactly. It's the bolo within the brand. Like they're saying Masters ones do well, but I just sold that Players one this morning. It had the Players logo. I found it at Goodwill earlier last week, and it sold for $40, and I paid $7 for it. So there are certain logos that'll drive up the price. Masters, of course, is one. Scotty Cameron's another one. The Players logo, the Golden Goat logo. Um, what are some other ones? The Indian Golf Club. I don't know what the name of it is. I don't think it's called the Seminole Golf Club. That's another one that increases the value. I think Trump's Course, that one will increase the value too. So there's certain logos that are on the front that will bring up the value, not just Masters logos. But again, that's within the brand. You got to really search to find those bolos. But jackets, some pants still do well. Corduroy pants will do well for you. But the basic polos, like Summer Comforts with a random golf club that used to sell like 3 or 4 years ago, those aren't going to move anymore. They're just going to sit in your store for a while before they actually sell for 15 to $20.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. All right, so if you're new to reselling, here's your bolo list. You're going to go to Google and you're going to type in PGA golf course logos. You're going to go to images and you're going to see one that has all the PGA golf course images. There's like 30 of them on there. Screenshot that. And when you go to a thrift store and you see a logo on a Peter Millar, and people in my group always say, is this what logo is this? If it's not one of these, more likely it's just a local golf course logo. 99% of the time. Those are the logos you want to look for. If one of those are on a golf polo, Peter Millar, Nike, whatever, it's going to add money to that polo shirt. So do that.
And like they're saying too, some college teams will also do the same thing. So if you find like a Ohio State embroidered one, those will sell. But there's other college teams that are not as well known that probably won't do as well. So those ones you'll pass on, like local colleges and things like that. You'll usually pass on those.
Mm-hmm.
See that if somebody put Peter Millar on a list, that they would not include all of that information. It'd just be Peter Millar. So that's why making videos and learning these things for yourself is really good.
Crispy, am I correct? The bolo and the Made in the USA Levi's. Yeah, I would say, but again, bolos also depend on your buy cost, guys. So Made in the USA Levi jeans for under $10 for me is a bolo. But if someone's paying $20, it's not a bolo, not for all of them.
Yeah. Tony's talking about a feedback experience they had on Poshmark. I'll summarize what they're saying because it's a long one. But basically, a person is not going to leave a feedback because they don't want to leave a negative feedback on Poshmark. Poshmark, don't even worry about your feedbacks. Nobody can see them. It's just for you and the buyer. There's no star feedback like you have a 5-star feedback and somebody leaves you a bad one like they do on eBay and that brings it down. So don't worry about feedbacks at all on Poshmark. If I ever get a negative feedback, I don't even look at my feedback on Poshmark because it literally doesn't matter. What do you think about
that? That's what I hear. I'm new to Poshmark. I'm not even a year. I'm a baby into Poshmark. And I hear feedback doesn't matter, so I don't care.
Yeah. Candace said, I'm sitting here thinking you need to take your beanie off bald. I'm not bald, but I'm balding.
Please don't take it off. You'll embarrass me.
Oh, I'm not.
Please don't take it off. We want people coming back.
It'll go from 158 people in here down to 2. It'll just be me and you.
Gosh. Oh, gosh. Who's this? Laura? Is that how you say it? Laura says Polo Ralph Lauren seems to be taking slowly. Do you think the market is becoming too saturated? I think everything's ebb and flows. Polo Ralph Lauren has been popular in some facet ever since they came out. So whether it's a vintage piece, a newer piece, Polo Ralph Lauren is my best-selling item of this year, and I think it is for you too.
Yeah. So I think people are just picking up the wrong Ralph Lauren pieces. There's certain pieces that go for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They're highly collectible. Like they're always going to sell. I think they're going to sell for years and years and years to come. But I think a lot of people get stuck on picking up just basic Ralph Lauren polo shirts, and they try to list them for 22 to 25, and they just don't move. Those will still move. I've been messing around with basic polos, and I've been moving them for anywhere between 15 to 20, and I try to keep my buy cost at like $1 or $2 for those, and they sell really, really fast. So even the basic things will sell, but you got to keep your prices low. But yeah, Polo Ralph Lauren is like go-to. I think this weekend I sold like four Polo Ralph Lauren items this weekend, and it was a slower weekend for me. So it's just a consistent brand. I can look up on eBay how many I've sold this year. But yeah, love selling Polo Ralph Lauren. It's by far the best brand to sell. Let me look this up really quick.
For sure. I watched you earlier. What's up? Introducing her. I watched you earlier, and you spoke about auto posture. I currently use Flipped, and I like it just fine. Am I missing something from auto posture that would enhance my experience? So, I don't think Flipped has an automation fact to it. So, with auto posture, you're going to have on Poshmark, it's going to be sharing all of your items. It's going to be doing automatic delist and recreates. It's going to be following people. It's going to be sending out offers. And then on eBay, Mercari, and Depop, it's doing all that minus the sharing because you don't do that on the platforms. And then also it has sales detection. So if you sell something on one platform, it takes it off all the other platforms. It's like Flipped on steroids. Doesn't like
also has sales analytics tool. One of the things that Auto Posture does that no other platform does that I know of is if you have a multi-quantity listing, let's say you have 3 Polo Ralph Lauren polos in size large, all within the same listing as a quantity of 3. If you sell one on eBay, it'll auto sales detect on Poshmark and bring down your listing to a quantity of 2 now. Also, it won't remove that listing from Mercari because Mercari, you can't have a multi-quantity listing. It'll keep that listing up on Mercari until it's completely sold out. So that's something that Vindu doesn't do properly. I don't think Vindu does it at all, to be honest. I know List Perfectly doesn't do that because it never did it when I was on that platform either. And that's something the Auto Posture only does. The automatic recreates, basically you're taking a Mercari listing and ending it and then relisting it once a month, which pushes it back up to the top of search, meaning you don't have to discount that listing. Auto Posture does it for you. And then, sales analytics tool, you'll be able to track all your profit and loss as soon as a sale is made. Which is big, so you don't have to use a spreadsheet or anything like that. It's automatically put right into your listing for you in your sales analytics tool. So lots of benefits. Flip is cheap because it's a cheap platform, and if you like it, keep it. But to be honest, it's a lower end platform.
You'll make more money. I'm telling you right now. We're right here. I switched from Flip to Auto Posture. I never looked back.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to invest in your business, and I think both of us would never promote anything that we wouldn't use ourselves.
Yeah.
Ever.
I was just thinking about that today. Just within the last month, I've probably had DM'd probably like 25 to 30 services that have messaged me and said hey, like I was talking to you the other day about Temu. They messaged me and said, hey, promote our products on Temu and we'll pay you good money. And I'm like, I don't want to promote Temu products on my platform. I don't think anybody should be buying from Temu. So I've had services that come out, now they have a bunch of them coming out where you can just snap a picture of the item inside the store and it creates the listing for you and creates the pricing for you. But to be honest, I feel like those programs will not give you accurate prices and not give you accurate comps and not create a good enough listing with enough keywords. So I would never promote that product. I just feel like, I wouldn't promote something that I don't use in my own business. All the cross-listers have reached out to both of us, asked us to promote them, some at better rates, and I've denied every single one of them because I feel like Auto Posture is the best.
Yep. True story.
True story. By the way, in the last 90 days, just on eBay alone, 149 Ralph Lauren items have sold. So that's about 2 a day, a little less than 2 a day, and that's just eBay, not counting Poshmark, not counting Mercari.
Jared said we saturated the market with Ralph Lauren.
I don't think you can. I think Ralph Lauren is one of those brands that you just can't oversaturate. As long as your pictures are good, you got good keywords, you draw those people into your listings. Ralph Lauren is a staple brand that if you go out to dinner in a big restaurant, I guarantee you'll see at least 3 or 4 people wearing Ralph Lauren shirts. It's just everybody has one.
Young to old. You're going to see KayWay in a bear sweater, and you're going to see his dad in a Polo Ralph Lauren button-up shirt.
Yep. It's just one of those brands. Everybody loves it, and it's maintained its value because they do things to maintain that value within their stores. They don't allow too many resellers to buy their products. So, I think it's just a brand that's always going to do well.
Listing credits are for just new listings, not recreates.
Yep.
For Auto Posture. I'm just currently. Hold on, there's one before that. Ralph Lauren jeans with the hole in them. That's on you. I don't know.
I've had a couple flesh pony. What was that question for me? Sorry, I was reading this.
No, it wasn't. You're good.
Oh, I have a couple flesh pony button down 2XLs for $23.99. It's been 2 weeks. I thought they for sure would sell quick.
They must have got this live recently. Started off this live with patience.
Yeah.
Patience. That I told yesterday. I texted Wayne. I'm like, I want to get online right now. We need to do a live because I've been thinking about it a lot. Patience, patience, patience. With Polo Ralph Lauren especially, I have 2 bins full of Polo Ralph Lauren shirts, which is a lot. But I sell them like every other day, every day.
Yeah. Yep. I think too having more in your store is better. Just this when I made that post the other day, I had one person come in and buy 3 of them, so it increased my sales that day because I had 3 of the same size in different colors, and people, like I said, wear them all the time. They want a couple in different colors, so they can wear one every single day of the week to either work or out on the town. So having more in your store is better than having just 2 in your store. If you walk into Walmart and there is, let's say, you go down the hot sauce aisle and there's a bunch of hot sauces there. If you only had 2 options for people to choose from, the chances of those people buying those 2 options is lower than if you had many options for them to choose from, and they might pick 2 different type of hot sauces because they want to try both of them out. So having more always helps in your store. And yeah, I don't even know how many I have listed right now. I have a ton of Ralph Lauren listed, but every single day, boom, Ralph Lauren, Ralph Lauren, Ralph Lauren. So having more is always better. That's my opinion.
Speaking of, someone brought up in the chat, you're talking about you're having a Whatnot show, a pallet show. Is it Temu? You haven't told everyone what it is. It Temu stuff, right?
Yeah, it's all Temu, straight from Temu.
Amy, I heard that too. The pallet's Temu.
Yeah, it's a Temu Ralph. It's actually Ralph Lauren straight from Temu, so it's not actually Ralph Lauren. It just looks like the guy's not. Yeah, the guy's actually not riding the pony. The pony is actually riding the guy. So that's the logo.
Are you into that? They are Surfs. They are double RL jeans. Oh, Jared, yeah. If you have double RL jeans with the hole, they're a pickup.
Oh, 100%.
You can. I would just take that to a local seamstress. They can fix that for $5. Literally, they'll charge you $5, and they'll be good as new. I had a purple label blazer, and the button was in the pocket. I took it to a seamstress. They charged me $5 to put the button on it. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, certain brands you just buy flawed because they just sell very, very well. Yeah, that's one of those ones. It would be a no-brainer. Like double RL with, if it had a hole in the butt, I would probably still buy it and have it fixed because it'll still sell. Speaking of the horses.
Yeah. All right. We can be on here for days. You like listening to yourself. I know you do. So you can't look at yourself. Do you like looking at yourself better or me?
I try to look at you, but your nose is crooked. Always like messes me up. I can't read the chat and look at your nose at the same time.
I know. I got hit with a jet ski in high school, and it got crooked. And they fixed it, but they didn't fix it. It's still crooked.
How the hell did you get hit in the face with a jet ski? You didn't see the whole thing coming. The jet skis are pretty big, Surfs. Like you can't miss those things.
So I was under the influence, and I don't do anything anymore. But that was one time I was under the influence, and my buddy who was under the influence hit me with the jet ski in it. Yeah. So that's what happened.
My dad's friend, my dad used to have a jet ski. He actually used to have one of the ones where he actually souped up to where like when you pressed it, like he had a button too that he pressed and made it go like super fast. It was like one of the racing ones. And he would fix it up with his buddy. His buddy, they were racing one day and he didn't see that there was a sandbar where he was going. He hit the sandbar. He went over the top. I think he broke his legs and basically his face went directly into the sandbar and skidded against and like ripped apart his skin on his face. Yeah, you gotta be careful on jet skis. Sandbars sometimes you don't see them because the waves are a little bit higher, got a little high tide. You hit one of those sandbars, you're done.
But it's nice to make fun of people with flaws. I'm sure the chat appreciates that.
Hey, you made fun of my hairline earlier. I just pointed out and you just went on with it, so I had to.
Right. Damn it. All right, yeah. Let's end it because I think we can answer questions all day long.
Yeah, we'll do another one of these maybe next week sometime. We'll hop on just randomly. We'll probably announce it during like our morning lives. I think that's good to tell the people that are in our morning lives that we're going to do one.
Sure. What do we got coming from you? Did you say you're doing maybe a Whatnot this weekend with Caleb?
Yeah, so Caleb, I reached out to him. I went into his live when he was doing his first Whatnot. I was like, hey, we should do, because he knows his brands. Like, it would be fun for me to bring 15 items and him to bring 15 items and just sell like really crazy stuff on live. Because I have some stuff stored away that I can bring out. So I think we're going to do that this weekend. It'll just be like kind of like almost like a Q&A kind of selling live. We'll see how it goes, and if it goes good, then maybe we'll bring like both of us will bring like 50 items and do like speed sales and just like I'll sell one, he'll sell one. Because I've never done one of those on Whatnot. I've always wanted to. So yeah, we'll see. We'll set that up for this probably this either Friday or Saturday. I gotta see what day he wants to do it because he usually does his shows on Friday. So I don't know if he
So,
can do it on Saturday.
yeah, so that'll be cool. I definitely think I always talk shit about KayWay and all that sort of stuff, and I really mean most of the stuff I say, but go watch KayWay's Whatnot shows. So go to your Whatnot. If you guys don't follow him on Whatnot, if you guys are wanting to live sell, go to his show, see how quickly he runs his items, and look at the items he's selling and what prices he's starting them at. That's what you want to follow. And someone earlier I saw, and I didn't repeat the comment, was, do you have to have a following to do Whatnot? And the answer is no. You can build your own following if you do the things that I just talked about. Watch KayWay this weekend, and you'll see how it's done.
A lot easier to start when you have a following, obviously, because you're able to get people to your show. But there's so many examples of people that don't have a following anywhere else that do really good on Whatnot. Actually, Whatnot has their most followers out of all platforms. So 100% you can do it. It's just going to take more time. And like we said, we are talking about earlier, patience. A lot of people don't have patience. They expect to fire up a show and just boom, sell a bunch of stuff, and it doesn't happen for them, and they just quit because they didn't have enough patience to build it. So yeah, that'll happen this weekend, and then I'm going to do another Bolo video. I was actually going to film it tonight, but I think I'm going to film it tomorrow. Polo Bolo video for YouTube that'll come out. No thrifting video this week because we didn't really film too much last week, but we'll probably make another one of those for the following week.
And your wife is sick, and your kid's sick, and
oh, it's miserable. I hate when the kids are sick, especially when Joey's here because no work gets done. Zero.
Gosh.
Yeah. All right. We'll call it a day here. We'll probably do this again next week. I don't know if it's going to be on Monday or another day. Whenever Surfs feels
most inconsistent, consistent. We're not married to any time.
Yep. So you'll never know when we're going to pop up. So make sure you're following both. If you're following on either my Facebook or his Facebook or my YouTube or his YouTube, you'll get a notification as soon as we go live. And you didn't say what you're doing. You doing anything special this week before we sign off?
No, but I do like the sound like that. Polo Bolo. I like that video.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I figure it's gonna be a good one. 5 polos to look out for. And I'm gonna try to get like 2 or 3 that people can actually find, and then 2 or 3 that's gonna be really hard for people to find too. That's the point of a bolo, by the way. I get comments like, "I'll never find these brands." Yes, that's because they're a bolo. It's supposed to be harder for you to find. But if you know the brand, you know what to look for, you'll end up finding them a lot more often. So, yeah. Usually, when you put out one of those videos, like Surfs found one of those items right away, he probably would have passed on that, or maybe he would have looked it up, but because I put out that video, he found one like that same exact week. So, yeah.
Bolo, Turnbull and Asher, right? That jacket.
Turnbull and Asher, yeah.
Ever since you talked about that a year ago, I've found one, and I look all the time. So
Yep.
A bolo is usually something you find a few times a year. If you're lucky, more than that. If you're rule of thumb, if you're new to reselling, you're finding something often, it's not something you pick up.
That's a point of a bolo. It's not supposed to be. If it was readily available, it wouldn't be a bolo anymore because people would find it all the time and it would tank the market. So it's supposed to be something that's harder to find.
So.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right,
Appreciate you guys hanging out.